A federal judge in Texas has ruled that employers are not required to cover certain preventive services without cost sharing, like some cancer screenings or an HIV prevention drug. The judge said that providing this kind of healthcare for free violates religious freedom. The ruling is getting national attention. Free preventive care is one of the more popular benefits included in the Affordable Care Act. In fact, the Affordable Care Act mandates that all insurers offer certain preventative services without any cost sharing to plan participants. And there's actually a list of about 80 services that are included as free without cost sharing. There are 3 separate lists, actually, one for all adults, one for women, and one specific to children. And we link to those in the description below. Which preventative services make that list is determined by a panel of experts. Some Texas businesses and some residents then sued in federal court, and that's what got us to this judge's ruling. It was Judge Reed O'Connor that agreed that free cancer screenings and a free HIV prevention drug violated the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. He also took issue with how some of those experts who make the recommendations of what preventative services are included in that ACA list are actually put on their respective task force, namely the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force. He called them government officials, and he found that an improper use of their ability to determine what makes the preventative services list. Now, you might remember the name Judge Reed O'Connor. He's the judge in Texas that called the entire Affordable Care Act unconstitutional in 2018. He ruled that the individual mandate was unconstitutional, and therefore the entire Affordable Care Act should be tossed. The U.S. Supreme Court disagreed in 2021 and upheld the Affordable Care Act in its entirety. In this case, Judge Reed O'Connor said there was no compelling government interest in covering preventative services. So what's next? Well, preventative services made free by the Affordable Care Act continue to be available. That includes things like mammograms, well child visits, access to the PrEP drug, contraception, cancer screenings, etc. The decision out of Texas is narrow. It's specific to a certain HIV drug and Braidwood Management's purchase of Health Plan, one of the employers that sued in the case. A specific remedy has not yet been ordered, and it's not clear if it would be a narrow ruling impacting just the plaintiffs or if it would be broader than that. Judge O'Connor has asked both sides to outline their position and tell the judge what should come next, and they had to deliver that to the judge by September 16th. So we should hear more out of Texas in the weeks ahead as the judge reviews those filings. The case is then, of course, likely to be appealed to the U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit. Appeals could take months, if not years. It's possible enforcement of the judge's order may be put on hold during an appeal as well. And at least few to no changes will be made in 2023. The plans have already determined what the covered services will be for the next plan year. You can read more out of Texas. We link to that judge's decision in the description below.